Well, good evening everyone and welcome along to PS4 F8 Season 14 of Apex Online Racing. We're here for round 18 of the PS4 F8 series here in Mexico. So, the championship, how is it looking? 10 points separate the top two, McQuiz and Washi, and it's getting ever tighter as we go to the last 3 rounds. So, the championship fight can go down to just 2 people today if Denzamo does not outscore Washi by 7 points today. Then his championship battle or fight or lust for the title is over. And so then we move on to a few other stats, because we've got some nice stats here today. We got a message from our coordinator just to say what the race is going to be like today. And I'm just hearing that it's going to be a wet race today. It's going to be intermediate tyres for the race today, so expect Washi to be well up there. He's very good in the rain. So let's see. Oh, we've got a bit of a stack up going on here out of the pit lane. So let's read out what we got here. So we're looking at James. Oh dear, Dyson already disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. Now that's a new one. So he's out of qualifying. So next, Boniface. He's looking the most likely to take the victory here. Plenty of practice races have shown his pace to be well up there. So let's keep an eye on him. David Ben, McQuiz, and Denzamo all looking really good. But, of course, we're going to have a wet race, so we don't know how that's going to change. Zek, where is he on our screens? There he is. If he can hold it together and not do a bottle job on it, then I think he'll be well up there too. We're looking for a time. Oh dear, that's fallen over. We're looking for a time in the 1:16s, we reckon. Yeah, we're looking for a time in the 1:16s for the pole time. I just lost my HUD there for a second. Qualifying, we're looking to be very close between the top 7 and 8. Looking for the strategies. We're looking for either the 1 stops or the 2 stops today. So we're looking for times. Well, we're looking for lap 10 to 12 for 1 stoppers and lap 6 to 9 for people to stop for the 2 stop. And it is a very tricky pit entry, so could be a few penalties heading people's way. And some other interesting statistics. The American drivers are separated by only 11 points, and Washi is continuing his run of being the only driver this season to finish every single race in the points, which is quite the achievement. He hasn't finished lower than 8th this season, which is really a testament to his driving. And so then we're looking at your championship leader. We're going to ride on board for a lap of the Mexico Grand Prix then. He's just on a lap to put him second of a 1:17.5. He needs more than that because Denzamo's just on a 1:16.7. So running down to turn 1, it is a very long run to turn 1. So it is a very kind of S section here. He gets on the brakes down to 4th gear, getting turned in, then for the next tight chicane. Heading down the next back straight for the second DRS zone here. You see the DRS opening on the rear wing there. Keeping an eye as we run down to this next very tight street circuit type section. Similar to Circuit of the Americas and its double right-handers. Gets it turned in very nicely. And here we come to the S section. Rob 2K goes on 1:16.6 and Ian is out. So here's the S section every driver seems to hate. But when you get it right, it's amazing. And you're seeing Washi nail it through this section. And you see there's Boniface popping into P3. It's very close up the top, as you can see, into the stadium section. The most wonderful part of this circuit, in my opinion. The podium is right here, and you get some amazing overtakes in there. It used to be a baseball stadium in there, and it's converted into a Formula 1 track. So there's a lap with Washi. So Rob 2K is currently on provisional pole, which is a surprise. 1:16.6 for him. And we're looking at Jerry Force. There he is in the Williams, filling in for, I believe, Danny OUK today, who was missing. So, where is the Red Bull? There's Hoink in P16. Looks like there's been an accident down there. Is that Rob 2K in the wall? Oh dear. Right, so he's not going to have another chance to better his lap time, but he's on provisional pole. Hoink we're looking at. He is the driver with the highest average finishing position since he started. And he's also one of the other drivers to finish in the points every single time that he's started. He started midway through the season, so there's that. So currently, your grid is Rob2K on provisional pole, Denzamo in P2, Boniface in P3, David Ben in P4, Buffon in P5, Zek in P6, Washi in P7, Jerry Force in P8, More Than Amazing in P9, and McQuiz in P10. These guys have not set representative lap times. We're going to ride on board with the Estonian, the man who is in P2 in the championship, and is looking, I think he's actually backed out of his lap because he's not looking too quick through there. Lemaro in P11, Jason in P12, Ghost Hunter in P13, Kelly Damus in P14, Noodle in P15, Ian is out, he's in the Renault in P16, Hoink in P17, G Whites, who we haven't seen for a while, in P18, and Dyson, who has been disqualified. As you can see, very tight in between Boniface and David Ben. There's a couple of thousands separating them. It's about 4 thousandths of a second separating the McLaren and the Ferrari. So here we go to the lull in qualifying with 5 minutes to go. Drivers getting some fresh tyres, make some wing adjustments if they need to, and then they'll be back out on track. Should see McQuiz coming in. Yes, he does, for some fresh tyres. So, anybody out on track are currently setting a lap. We do have Ghost Hunter on his way into Sector 3 to ride on board with him through the S section. See how he gets on. This car likes to bite into that corner, so some nice wing on the front of that car. More Than Amazing gets out of the way for him there. And into the stadium section. It's a very tricky corner, that left-hander into the right. Also, this right-hander is very tricky because the pit entry is just on the right-hand side as you leave it. So it could catch some people out if they run a bit wide. So Buffon doing really well up in P5, just behind his teammate. About 0.2 of a second separating them. The two of them also race in the Project Cars GT3 Pro tier. So they're doing quite well in there. So now we come to the real part of qualifying. This is where drivers will start setting the fastest laps they've set all weekend. So, press release from McQuiz saying that he's got some pretty bad lag through the S section, which is kind of ruining his laps. So that's what's happening to him, which is unfortunate. But he is Estonian, so we'll forgive him. So we're riding on board. We're looking at Buffon in P5, running down to turn number 1. I'll keep an eye on Denzamo because I don't know if he doesn't beat. I think Rob2K will start on pole position either way because he did set the lap time. So I guess he can't take the lap time away from him just for crashing. He's getting himself psyched up for a lap while she's still in the pits. McQuiz on an out lap. So people were saying McQuiz was rapid in TT, but he needs to find quite a chunk of time. He needs about a second and a bit to get himself up the field, but that just shows you it's only about a second separating the top 10 there, which is extremely close. A couple of drivers still yet to set a lap time. Jerry Force doing a great job in P8, by the way. Quicker than More Than Amazing, and only a couple of hundreds slower than Washi, which is interesting. So he's doing a good job wearing number 13, Pastor Maldonado's number, but we won't hold that against him. Let's see how he's getting on through that first section. DRS wide open for Jerry Force, the Swedish driver. Trying to emanate Marcus Ericsson, or even be better than him, which wouldn't be hard. And there's Buffon going P1 with a 1:16.5, puts the Ferrari on provisional pole position. Now Denzamo is in Sector 3, so let's see how he gets on. Boniface also on the lap, he's in Sector 1. So this could be an excellent qualifying. Lemar up in P6. Now he's retired. He's very happy with that lap. That's an excellent lap from him. So Denzamo, is he going to go quicker? Or is this an invalidated lap? Let's see. Rob2K gets put down to second. Let's see where Denzamo's going to go. He's going to go. I don't think his lap was taken. He was slower on that lap. 10th of a second slower. So Buffon looking really good. So it's going to currently Buffon and Rob 2K on the front row. Can we see a completely different front row for the first time this season? Boniface looking really good through that S section there. Revving out the engine, trying to get the maximum from the Honda engine. Here we go through the stadium section. Locking up on the left front, getting away with it. So he's got his teammate up ahead of Stuart McDougall. So let's see if he comes across the line. Can Boniface go provisional pole for now? It's not a lap, it's a tenth of a second quicker, but it's not enough. He goes P4 and stays P4. Actually, it wasn't an improvement. It just showed on his laptop that he was a tenth up, but that's actually in real time. Jerry Force is in P6. He's doing a great job. McQuiz goes on the front row. That's what he needed. 1:15.53. That's 200ths of a second off. Zek goes P4 at 1:16.7. Now where is Washi on track? Coming across the line. He goes P6. He's only P6 in qualifying, but remember, it's a wet race and he's very good in the wet conditions. Denzamo is in P5, just ahead of him. So look at this grid. This is madness. Buffon on P1. McQuiz is still on the lap, and he's up on his best time. He's actually slightly down. Noodle pulls off to the side, let him through. So this is turning out to be an absolutely crazy qualifying session. There is the checkered flag for qualifying. And Washi going extremely quick in that first sector. He's 2/10 of a second up. More than amazing, goes P4 for Sauber. Zek is finished, looks like. Buffon's still out, but I think he's pretty much done the best he can do. Everybody in the top 9 has done 1:16s. Jerry Force is going to start in 10th, it looks like, which is a great result for him. Boniface can't improve, and McQuiz is locked up and gone straight on. So now the only people who can really challenge are Washi and Denzamo. Denzamo can't challenge, so the only guy who can challenge is this man, Washi. He's 2/10 of a second up on his best. Should get him up into roughly P4 or 5. But McQuiz is crucially on that front row. So can Washi pull something out of the bag in the last sector? Here comes your championship leader to go to P6. Unbelievable. Only managing P6, that shows you how competitive this field is, because they're under a tenth of a second separating the top 6. Buffon takes his first ever pole position in AOR F8. What a fantastic result for him. McQuiz starts in P2. Boniface will start on the second row of the grid in P3. Rob 2K starting P4. More than amazing will start in P5 alongside Washi. Zek alongside Denzamo. Denzamo only 8th as well. David Ben takes P9 and Jerry Force takes P10 with his best qualifying of the season. Noodle will start P11. Limaro in P12. Hoink only managed P13. G White's in P14. Ghost Hunter in P15. Jason in P16. Kelly Damus in P17, Ian in P18, and Dyson will round out the grid in P19. So, the most incredible qualifying we've seen all season. And we will see how they get on. I just got a press release from Dyson saying that he couldn't turn off the pit limiter because of the issues with his wheels. That's unfortunate for him, so not his fault. But if we can get a look at the gaps between the top 5, look at that. The top 12 are separated by 8/10 of a second, 23 hundredths between 1 and 2, 76 hundredths between Quiz and that's up to the top actually. So it's so close. And Washi was only a tenth of a second off of pole. But it ended up with him being 6th. Also the same situation for Denzamo, David Ben, Jerry Force only 6/10 of a second off. But it shows you every 10th counts. We're in for a cracker here today, ladies and gentlemen. But it's going to be raining. Which is going to throw things into chaos. So there's Buffon getting his first pole position in AOR F8. Congratulations to him. McQuiz on the front row as well. Boniface P3, Rob 2K P4, more than amazing P5, Washi P6, Zek P7, Denzamo P8, David Ben P9, Jerry Force P10, Noodle Doodle in P11, Limar in P12, Hoink in P13, G White in P14, Ghost Hunter P15, Jason P16, Caddy Damus P17, Ian in P18, and Dyson in P19. We're in for a cracker, as I said. Closest qualifying all season, and possibly the best of the season. So let's see if the weather forecast was correct. I wonder, will it be raining in Mexico? So we're getting ready. We'll let the F1 intro play. And we welcome you along to AOR F8 round 18. The race, and yes it is intermediate conditions. And of course we had, I believe, intermediate conditions in the last race in Circuit of the Americas, which we did in the early part, but this time it's from the very beginning, so they're going to have to really, really be careful off the start. They've got to really take care of this start line, because these cars are very, very unforgiving and will very easily spin you out. So, with 5 seconds left to go, grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to go racing in AOR F8. And for the 18th time, we go to 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix. Who's going to come out on top here today? It's going to be lights out, and away we go. Buffon gets away well. They're all squaring for grip off the start line. Buffon gets a bit of a wiggle on that, straight into the lead. Goes McQuiz. Rob 2K is going to capitalise as well. So Buffon's going to lose out hugely here. So it's going to be McQuiz, Rob 2K, and look at them going 3 wide in the background between Boniface, then Zamo and a couple of others, and Washi straight down the inside of Rob 2K, trying to take second position, but he can't quite do it, so he's up to 4th already. Actually, up to 3rd, so he's gone from 6th to 3rd in one corner, so they all made it through relatively cleanly. It's actually going to be more than amazing. Where is he? He's actually all the way down. Well, it's actually glitched him, but he's actually, I believe, up in P5, and there's been an issue for somebody back there. It's gone 3 wide, because Buffon's all the way down in P6. He's lost out massively off that start. And it is McQuiz who leads from Rob 2K, from Washi, from More Than Amazing, from Denzamo, from Buffon, from Noodle, Boniface, David Ben and Ghost Hunter all the way up in P10. Caddy Dames looks like he's had a problem. So that was exactly the start McQuiz needed. Buffon just got the wheel spin and lost it off the start. Oh dear, Ghost Hunter and Zek make contact. Zek started up in P4. They've all had problems off that start line. Caddy Dames has lost his front wing. And McQuiz now can get the hammer down and try and see if he can pull a gap. And that's Caddy Dames already out on lap 1. More Than Amazing on the back of Washi. Denzamo up behind him as well. So this is exactly what McQuiz needs. So at the end of lap 1, it's McQuiz who leads. Rob 2K P2, Washi P3, More Than Amazing P4, Denzamo P5. Boniface and Noodle look like they're having a little bit of a battle, and Noodle gets through. And David Ben's going to be challenging Boniface now. He's going to go into the slipstream, and it's a very long run down to turn 1. So he's going to pull alongside. Rich Mix will be on. He'll try to pull alongside at least. No moves up front as of yet. He's going to try a little dive into the right-hander, thinks about it, and Boniface goes very deep into that corner and loses out, and into P8 goes David Ben. So McQuiz is relishing the fact that he's out in the lead, and it is exactly what he needs. And so then, Rob 2K getting a huge kick of oversteer. Now Washi will capitalise on that. He's going to try and pull alongside, but he can't do it. It's going to be very awkward to try and pull alongside there. I wouldn't try that there, Sunshine. But all of this is allowing McQuiz to just ease away. You see Boniface and David Ben still very close together. Boniface is going to try and move to the S section. Not going to work there. Saves the car. Just about. More Than Amazing trying to get back on the back of Washi. Just taking it really steady. Press release from Caddy Dames. Buffon's had another problem. So from pole position to all the way down in P15, 16 this will be. He says that he got bumped into the wall, lost my wing and couldn't make it through the S's. So real shame for him. But here we go to the battle up front. No DRS will be enabled as it is intermediate conditions. So let's see, is Washi trying to pull alongside Rob 2K? He's thinking about it, but he can't do it. McQuiz, 2 seconds clear. Rob 2K's gone deep. And is he going to spin? He almost spins and holds onto it, but now Washi will get the cut back on the way out of this chicane. But that's allowing More Than Amazing to get involved. He's going to surge past Washi and get into P3. So this is not good for Washi's championship hopes. More Than Amazing goes very early on the brakes, and Washi's trying to hang around the outside, and he does make sure that he gets past then. More Than Amazing banging wheels with him. So this is exactly what McQuiz needed. He needed Washi to get caught up in a little battle so he can lose time. And out front, he's 3.5 seconds clear in clean air. Denzamo makes it past More Than Amazing. Where's More Than Amazing? Oh dear, no, he spun. I didn't even see it. So he just spun, just lost it. He did no damage, but I think he just lost it in the S's on the way in. So that puts Stuart McDougall up into P5. What a great job he's doing in the McLaren. So now it is Toro Rosso in 3 and 4. And this is actually a little bit of a dilemma for Denzamo, because if he wants to win this title, he needs to finish in front of Washi by about 7 points. It's going to be very hard to do, of course, but that's the way. Look at that. Newell McDougall setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So he's doing a fantastic job. Let's see if he can actually catch up to these guys up ahead. So, Washi trying to get up to the back of Rob 2K. Actually, McQuiz lost a bit of time that last time by. So, perhaps just starting to lose a little bit, but maybe it's just a little mistake. So we're riding on board with James Boniface as he chases down More Than Amazing, who's in P7. And yes, Stuart is closing in on Denzamo, because Denzamo's actually up behind Washi. Oh dear, that was James Boniface running very wide into the double right. Running a bit wide there as well. I'm just trying to get the points up, actually, because this is going to be an interesting one to look at. And actually, McQuiz is starting to lose time now. He's beginning to struggle. So from showing the early pace, it doesn't look like he's starting to enjoy it now. Perhaps just a bad lap, we can't rule that out either. So maybe just needs to settle back into that groove. Got a yellow flag, that's Jason has had a problem, it looks like. Yes, he has, he spun the car. Washi sets fastest lap. He's just waiting patiently for everybody to get past him. So Washi up behind Rob 2K. You see him there. Trying to get past. He needs to get past. So let's see if we can get those league time tables up for you. And we'll tell you the situation in the championship. McQuiz opening up another little bit of a gap. And there is Stuart McDougall, just not far behind these guys. So doing really well up in P5. So could be on for a good result here if he keeps it together. So, as I said, the gap is 10 points. So, McQuiz doing what he needs to do, but he's starting to lose time now. But the gap he needs to worry about most is the gap between himself and Washi. So back to, maybe if we look further down the order, we can maybe see a little battle going on between Ghost Hunter and Lamara, closing in on each other. But Washi's right up behind Rob 2K, but of course with the lack of DRS, it's very hard to make an overtake here, but he has got a great exit out of that final corner, also setting the fastest lap again. Got a massive slipstream. Here he comes. Washi to take P2 away. And look at that. Stuart McDougall setting the fastest lap again. More Than Amazing setting it as well. Washi goes past into P2 and can now begin his chase of McQuiz. McQuiz went deep into that first corner as well. You just saw it. Of course, with this, if it were to finish this way, then the gap would come from 10 points to 3 points. I believe that's the way it goes. 25 and 18. And vice versa. But anything can change, and it can change very quickly in Formula 1. Now you're looking more than amazing right behind David Ben. You also got Boniface in the background as well. Denzamo right behind Rob 2K as well. His championship title hopes will be over today if he doesn't outscore Washi by 7 points. Stats, of course, thanks to this man, more than amazing. We put them all together, and more than amazing has got wing damage. You see it on the right hand side. Got a problem for Ghost Hunter, it looks like. Yeah, he's gone straight on into the wall there. So not having a good day. So there you go. Boniface gets past, more than amazing. No problem at all because of the wing damage. So let's look at Denzamo as he closes in on Rob 2K in P3. Of course, Toro Rosso are the Constructors' title holders this year. They've won it, and they won it by quite a margin. And I can say that Washi isn't getting away from Rob 2K. Well, I say that, and Rob 2K's gone straight off, and there's contact. And we saw that coming as he came back across the track. He spun, and Denzamo was very lucky to just get a side pot hit there. Rob 2K losing his wing, and now going to be vulnerable to Stuart McDougall. Look where he is. Stuart McDougall going to try and get past Rob 2K. He's on for a podium, this man, today. Great performance. Let's look at him. This should be a relatively easy move for Stuart here as he tries to get past Rob 2K. But then that's his star of the show today. Up in P5. His best result was around this place as well. It was a long time ago, though. I think it was back in Russia at some point, I believe. Oh, and I've almost cursed him. He holds on to it, though. And David Ben starts to close up behind him as a result. So then, let's get that table up again. Just to see who is where. And I should clarify, actually, I know there was a bit of confusion over who won the American Grand Prix last time out. And it was actually David Ben who was, after about 4 days of deliberation, was given the victory. So congratulations to him. That is his 3rd victory of this season, so he's done a great job. He won in Silverstone, he won in Singapore, and then he won in Circuit of the Americas, albeit due to Washi's problems with disconnections, which was a real shame. So Stewart, actually, his best result this season has been 6th, so he's well ahead of that in P5. If he can just hold on to that, he'll be on for his best result. And you see more than amazing getting past Ian. He's just made a pit stop, of course, has more than amazing. And Buffon, he's had a terrible start to this Grand Prix. He started on pole position, then dropped all the way back to 10th here. But he's on the back of Limaro. And you are right, Cali Dempsey, he's flying back through the field. He had to make another pit stop thanks to it because of his wing damage, but he is going back through the field. There's your... So we've had 3 people with 3 race wins this season. We've had McQuiz, we've had Washi, and now David Bennett's part of that club. He's a 3-time race winner this season as McQuiz sets the fastest lap. I believe Washi is a 3-time... It's actually, sorry, Washi is a 4-time race winner this season. McQuiz is actually a 5-time race winner. So I thought it was a little bit closer than that, but yep. David Ben, 3-time race winner. So if things continue the way they are, and McQuiz and Washi don't get another win this season, or etc., then McQuiz would actually win the championship on countback if it came to a tie, which is interesting to note. And there you have it. Look at Stewart closing back up to Rob 2K then. He's dragging David Ben along with him, and also behind him is James Boniface. Rob 2K, is he struggling around with wing damage? Yes, he is. You can see it on the right-hand side. The cascade elements are gone off that side. Just on the end plate, sorry, not the cascade elements. Oh dear, James Boniface in the wall. We hyped him up a little bit at the start to say he was on for that pole position but was pipped to it. Isn't really having the best of times out there today. Back to Stewart. So while one has an absolute mare, one is having a fantastic race here today. He's closing up to the back of Rob 2K, and let's see if he can make that move down the straight. We're about to go into lap 10 of 36. This race will of course be longer because of the rain. We're getting lap times that are almost 16 seconds longer than they would take in the dry. Let's see the slipstream if he can get one. He will have a huge slipstream. Look at the amount of time he's gaining, and it's such a long straight here in Mexico. Will Stewart try a move? Yes, he is. A big dive bomb, but Rob 2K closes it off. But now Rob 2K has compromised his exit. Look at David Ben snipping his nose in the wing mirrors there. So we got a nice little battle going on here. More Than Amazing sets the fastest lap. We got a yellow flag in sector 2. And I think that's just for a slow car. That is Dyson getting out of the way of these guys. And we got a nice little scrap going on for P4 between Rob 2K, Stewart and David Ben. So, he runs a bit wide there. He might be vulnerable to David Ben in this next sector, but there's just no room to make a move. As you say that, Stewart has completely messed it up and lost that back end, and gives that position to David Ben, as we also saw More Than Amazing get past his teammate there for P10. So let's run you through the order very quick. It is McQuiz leading this Grand Prix by 2.9 seconds over Washi. Denzamo in P3. Rob 2K in P4. David Ben P5. Stewart in P6. James Boniface P7. Zek in P8. Buffon in P9, who has just got past Dyson there. More Than Amazing in P10. Lamaro P11. Ian in P12. Hoink in P13. G. White's in P14. Jerry Force P15. Jason in P16, Ghost in P17, and Dyson in P18. Only run retirement, Caddy Damus. So I think McQuiz had a poor sector that last time out. He's 2.4. There's now the gap. Dyson is now out of this Grand Prix. We just saw a little scrap going on. David Ben trying to make his way past Rob 2K. He's doing a great job to hold on. Even with the wing damage, there's contact. Definitely a little bit of contact made between David Ben and Rob 2K. Just a little nudge to let him know he's there. Of course, no safety car being run in AOR because of how glitched it is. So these intermediates will go a long way. Should go about half distance, which is about lap 18, I believe, is the halfway point, if my maths is correct. I hope it is. So, yep, it is lap 18. Just had to make sure. I was just doing some quick maths. So, lap 18, I think, is when they'll pit. And look at the slipstream he's getting. Just because of the wing damage, he's lost so much straight line speed. Here comes David Ben to take P4 away from Rob 2K. He's already ahead, closes the door. And that is wham bam, thank you ma'am. He's got that move done. Boniface into the pits for a change of wing, it looks like, and some new intermediates. I believe Zek also in just behind, also with a bit of wing damage. Wing damage very much affects you in the wet conditions, because you really, really need that downforce. So there's Denzamo, and it looks like he's going to be out of contention for this world title, which is kind of unfortunate because he had a string of exceptional results. A race win in Malaysia, what we thought was a race win in Circuit of the Americas, but was just a bit behind his teammate Washi. Not far behind, but just a little bit more, and is now in third position in the championship. Well, looking to take third position in the championship, because I believe David Ben took that over, if I'm not mistaken. No, Denzamo is in P3 by 12 points. So he is in there. Oh dear. Ghost Hunter in that wall. And in comes Denzamo for his stop. And suddenly, Washi's found a burst of pace and pulls within 1.8 seconds of his championship arrival. David Ben takes P3, Rob 2K now in P4. New set of intermediates for Denzamo. Where's he going to come out? I think he's going to come out in P6, we think. Ghost Hunter is still stuck in that wall. He's actually out of this Grand Prix. Yeah, that's him out. So he's the third retirement. In comes Buffon for his stop. More than amazing, he made a stop not too long ago, so he'll be staying out. Boniface gets a 3-second time penalty for the corner cutting. I'm surprised not many people have that penalty today. They're playing by the rules. Buffon is going to come out just behind Hoink, it looks like. It's going to be kind of tight. He gets up to speed. Hoink is maybe going to get past. Just about. Buffon's still ahead, but he's going to have to go around the outside for this one if he wants it. So he's going to sweep around the outside. Yes, he does. So Hoink gets into P9, but only just, and Zek pulls in behind. Yellow flag in Sector 3. I think this must be still before. Somebody's gone straight out. No, that's G White's getting out of the way. And thank you to Caddy Damus, who actually said Stewart also has a 3-second time penalty, but now Rob 2K has one. As Washi comes in, he's trying to do the undercut. So now McQuiz needs to get the hammer down and make this his fastest lap. Washi is going to go on to a set of new intermediates, of course. We also have David Ben coming in, and also Stewart following suit. Rob 2K stays out. And more than amazing, where's he going to come out in all this? Can he do a massive overcut on these guys? Washi comes back out. Denzamo is still behind his teammate. So the undercut has not worked for him. More than amazing is going to come out just behind Stewart, it looks like. Boniface sets the fastest lap, and he just made a stop. So this could be promising signs from McQuiz. Can he maybe string a lap together? Because he needs to respond. He's 24 seconds clear of Washi. It's going to be nip and tuck in the pit lane. So now we're looking at more than amazing. Right up behind Stewart. He's going to get a big old cut back here. Can he do it? No, he can't. So there goes more than amazing. Slipping one down the inside. No fight put up by Stewart. And gets through. McQuiz, is he going to come in? No. So he thinks he can bring it a bit longer. So now Wash is going to be getting the hammer down, but he has got his teammate out of his chuff. Who I don't think is going to really be hanging back. Rob 2K makes his pit stop finally. And that'll put Washi into P2. And he will be... And that is the best excuse I've heard for retirement. Ghost Hunter says he retired from this Grand Prix because of his crash, because he sneezed. So there you have it. Sneezing in an F1 car is dangerous. So McQuiz, I think, maybe trying to bring his intermediates a bit longer so he can have them a bit fresher at the end. I would have to assume he's going to bring them a bit, maybe 3 or 4 laps longer to try and make sure he has fresher ones at the end. Washi's 21 seconds behind. It's quite a ways, but it is a pit stop. And the momentum down the straight will play into his advantage. We have a little battle going on between Hoink, Buffon, and Zek. This has been going on since the pit stop phases. So, Zek has not bottled it yet, I may add. Has got 1 podium to his name, back in Silverstone. But has yet to find the top step. Can he find it in the last 2 rounds? Of course, we'll be heading to Brazil next time out. And then finally to Abu Dhabi. So only 2 weeks left here in AOR F8. It's gone so quickly. And it's been a pleasure to provide the vocals as we saw Buffon cut the corner. So McQuiz, I think, stayed out again. So I think my suspicions are correct. If you can force Washi to maybe go balls to the wall and wear his tires up by trying to catch, and maybe he can have the advantage at the end. So we're coming up to the halfway mark. We'd intermediate conditions for the entire race in Circuit of the Americas pretty much. And we're going to have one here as we saw McQuiz run wide. He cannot afford any penalties. But so far he has not done that. Neither has Washi. A lot of drivers have been following the rules. More than amazing, closing up behind David Ben now. And there is McQuiz making his pit stop. So, in comes your race leader. No wing damage to worry about. Washi coming through the stadium section, McQuiz on his way out. So Washi, I think, is just about going to take this race lead. McQuiz on his way to the pit exit. I think Washi's going to sweep past and take the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. There is McQuiz. It's just not enough for him. He's going to come up behind, and Denzamo won't get that. So he has jumped in front of Denzamo just about. Yes, he has. No, Denzamo's going to try and take it away from him. He's going to sweep around the outside. Oh, what a move from Denzamo. Absolutely on the limit, and takes second place away from McQuiz. And now he can try and play the team game and try and hold on. But of course now, McQuiz's tyres are 2 laps fresher. So McQuiz needs to get past. That was a brilliant move from Denzamo. Opposite locking his way around the Estonian. And that would be remembered. Meanwhile, you can see More Than Amazing closing up very quickly to David Ben. And you see McQuiz needs to get past very quickly. I think McQuiz was just in a bit of a predicament there. He had the Williams Jerry Force. I believe it was Jerry Force at least. Just kind of there. I had to kind of make some avoiding action. So Washi back in the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix after the pit stop phases, but only just. I'm not sure why McQuiz made his pit stop so late, but it may come to him in the end. Now we're looking More Than Amazing. Surely a move on for 4th place here. Rich mix for the Sauber. Jerry Force gets well out of the way. Plenty of room to get out of the way here in Mexico. Siri runs down to turn 1. We're at the halfway point in this Grand Prix. No move on for More Than Amazing. So, here we go. Running down to Sector 2. We also see Hoink in the pits. So let's see if More Than Amazing can get that cutback on the way out. Right up behind the Ferrari here. 1 podium to his name. Has More Than Amazing. Got that in Japan, I believe. A 4th place finish in America. And Ghost actually making a good point there. Is McQuiz maybe trying the 1-stop? Oh dear, Jerry Force. Oh dear, that is a very, very broken Williams. That's on the way out of the S section. That's a shame for him. So maybe Washi might be planning another pit stop. But since McQuiz has been so aggressive, maybe trying the audacious 1-stop, maybe he can't afford to come in now. Back to the battle for 4th. More Than Amazing, trying to get past. Has been trying for the past lap. So, yeah, as I said, a double DNF for Williams. So here comes More Than Amazing. Will he try a dive? No, can't quite get it at the end of the straight. Oh dear, Zek is out of this race. And that's More Than Amazing. Oh dear. And look at that, McQuiz making the move on Denzamo. That's into this next sector, trying to go around the outside. This is Fernando Hamilton-esque. He gets the traction on the way out. Denzamo on the inside, McQuiz on the outside. The Estonian hangs around the outside. Is it all done and dusted? It's just about done and dusted. And McQuiz gets into P2. A great battle between Denzamo and McQuiz there. And he gets into P2, and that is what he needed. And More Than Amazing did get a 3-second time penalty right there. Now McQuiz can begin the chase. Oh dear, McQuiz runs a bit wide. He needs to keep an eye on his mirrors now. Is Denzamo maybe trying to launch it on the inside? No, not close enough. A finishing position of second for McQuiz brings the championship gap to 17 points. If McQuiz gets into P1, then it's going to be 3 points. So it's a huge difference. But he hasn't got the traction on the way out of that last corner, and now Denzamo is going to be all over him. Running down to the first corner. Look at the defense from McQuiz. This is not what he needs. Is Denzamo close enough? He's going to try and mirror the move he made earlier on. He's going to try and hang around the outside. Is he close enough? No, good defense from the Estonian. That gap now goes up to 5 seconds because of these guys battling. McQuiz needs to break away. And he can't afford to be wasting his tyre wear, or wasting his rubber on battling, because he needs to save them. So a nice little battle between the two of them. We also see Rob2K closing up to the back of Stewart, who's still in 6th, by the way. So now we're on lap 20 of 36. Still a ways to go. About 16 laps left to run. And still yet to be decided. Some great side-by-side action we saw. And now we're looking at Rob2K trying to find his way past the McLaren of Stuart McDougall. Can he make it work? Stuart goes a bit wide. Here comes the Force India trying to go around the outside. Will he try it around the outside? He's going to go a bit later on the brakes. Maybe try and get the switch back. He's going to have... He gets forced off the track a little bit there. He goes, locks up. And maybe a switch to the inside for him. No, can't make it work. So, can he maybe get the run down the main straight? This is the battle for 6th we're looking at. Gap between Washi and McQuiz, 5.2 seconds, down to 5. And he has pulled a gap on Denzamo. Running on board with the Force India. He tries to find a way past Stewart. Stewart got good straight line speed in that McLaren. And is holding on very well. Let's see if he can make this move. So, runs a bit, slightly two of them run a bit wide through there actually. So let's see, good straight line traction from the Force India there. A little bit of a wiggle on the way out. Will he try a dive into the stadium section? He's thinking about it, shows himself in the mirrors, but no cigar. Maybe into the stadium section. It's a very easy place to make a move here. But he is falling into the clutches of Boniface behind now. So his teammate is helping. And Rob2K gets a... Oh my goodness me! Huge kick of oversteer and loses the position. Saved it very well, but lost that position. So the gap between Washi and McQuiz staying steady at around 5 seconds. And it's not going up or down. No more than 2/10 either way. So they're pretty much matching each other for pace currently. But this will be a crucial win for Washi. If he can make it work. Oh dear. What was that? Bottomface just kind of stopped on the track a little bit there. Was that a glitch in F1? That was an interesting one. Not quite sure what happened there. But if Washi was to able to convert this into a victory, this would be a crucial win and would pretty much seal him the title going into the final 2 rounds, because a 17-point gap is a huge margin to make up. But it's not over. About 13 laps left to run here. There he is, championship leader, and has been for a substantial amount of the championship. And almost called the Rainmeister, because he's very, very consistent in these wet conditions. He gets a huge kick of oversteer going through there, displaying his car control. But in the background is the Mercedes of McQuiz. There he is. Denzamo not far behind either, just kind of hanging around that 1.4 second gap. More than amazing. Just saw him getting sideways there in P5. He's kind of out of sync in this race. Had to make an earlier stop. So we wonder how his tyres are getting on. So let's get the F1 points table up. So then we're going to look at this and see. It could, if, say, Denzamo did get past, then the championship gap would be 20 points and almost a race win between McQuiz and Washi. So it is a crucial victory for Washi to try and convert. But McQuiz will be trying his utmost. And bear in mind, his tyres are 2 laps younger than Washi's. Rob 2K still trying to find a way past Stewart, and hasn't been able to do so. Boniface had to make another pit stop. You see the straight line speed in the McLaren, no DRS for anybody. You see that, oh my goodness, huge slide. Buffon into the pits, your pole sitter. And hasn't been able to do much this race. Got that wheel spin off the line, and that was it for his race. From the very, very first 100 metres. That puts Limaro into P9. So he's doing an excellent job as well. Got a point finish last time out as well. But he has got Hoink up behind them. And I think Limaro is also dealing with wing damage a little bit. No, he's not actually. Never mind. $11 laps left to run. Denzamo is in, interestingly. So he was the earliest stopper of the Toro Rosso duo. So does that mean a worrying sign for Washi? So then Denzamo will have the fresher tyres. More than amazing, actually follows Denzamo in. Now that is interesting. Denzamo obviously couldn't last any longer and goes on to another set of intermediate. So he's gone for the 2-stop. McQuiz, we think, could be trying the 1-stop because of around the time he pitted. Denzamo comes out behind Rob 2K. He's got to fight past, but he's got brand new intermediates to work with. And you can see Washi is putting the hammer down. Pulls 5.5 on McQuiz. And maybe could be on for a stop here now. If he's pulling that gap in such a short time, then That must mean he's coming in for a pit stop. So let's keep an eye on him because he pulled about a second in no time at all. So that means he's pushing very hard. Is this a pit stop for Washi? No, it's not. So maybe this needs to be a... And McQuiz just looks like he's kind of struggling now. Washi pulls that pace from nowhere. And pulled a second in that last sector. I think McQuiz just had a poor lap. You can see 2.3 down on his best. So I think he just needs to get back into that groove. So I think Washi is within that safe space to come out in front of Denzamo. We have 10 laps left to run. And it's getting a little bit interesting. You see Boniface goes the first man to dip into the 129s on the intermediates. And Hoink did make his way past Buffon, I believe. And they both got past Limaro. And McQuiz has to do 19 laps on those tyres to make them last to the end. I don't think he's going to be able to do it because look at the time he's losing. I think they're already shot. Because he's down 1.7 in that middle sector, and this is a really poor pace in that middle sector. Is this just game over? He's losing all that time in that middle sector, and he's lost another second on that lap. This is not what he needs. And we knew he was getting frustrated with the game, but this is really kind of disheartening for him as Rob 2K comes in. But we thought it was over in Circuit of the Americas, and it certainly wasn't, because this man picked up the pieces. So let's just see if we can see where he's losing that time. Let's see if we can see where he's losing the time. And that is actually a good point from Caddy Dames there. Perhaps McQuiz just backing off and saving the tyres so we can get to the end. That could also be... Oh no, more than amazing! From such a great showing today, has bottled it in the wall. And that is his race over. That's his first retirement in AOR F8. That's a real shame for him. But that is a fair point. Perhaps he's backing off and saving the tyres. He's got to go 19 laps to do that one stop. Because you can hear him being very, very tentative on the throttle. Just easing his way in. So that was Washi lapping G Whites there. Out, I believe, Jason, perhaps? Or is that... That's actually Hoink going through, lapping G Whites as well. So there's a double lapping going on there. Tenzamo is about 16 seconds adrift of McQuiz. And he's 23 seconds behind Washi, interestingly. So, 23 seconds is in and around the pit stop time here in Mexico. So now this gets a little bit interesting. If he's in that pit stop window, and that could spell trouble for Washi. Because this could be a huge undercut for him. Unless Washi starts to pull the pace up a little bit. Or is Washi maybe trying to go to the end? But he doesn't look like he's saving those tyres. He's going flat out. And just pulling so much time. Because we got about 7 laps to go. There's McQuiz. David Ben 4 seconds behind as well in P3. Don't forget, he is there. 14. Yeah, Denzamo is pulling time. So, he could be on for a win if he manages to... That's if, of course, Washi pits. The gap has gone up to almost 9 seconds in the space of a couple of laps. So I don't know if this is some incredible tyre saving for McQuiz, or this is him struggling. Gotta remember, he is on a controller. So of course, he's at a disadvantage in that regard, but he's losing a lot of pace in this middle sector. You can see where he's kind of struggling with the changing of direction. And could this be goodbye championship for McQuiz? That's the big question. Is Washi pitting? Nope. And is McQuiz gonna pit? He's thought about it there, but he's running very close to that curb. But no. But David Ben is catching him. So he's got to be wary of this man coming up very quickly. And Denzamo going flat out as well. 6 laps to go. These guys have gone a long way on these intermediates, and you see Washi was 1.4 seconds slower than his best in that sector. So they're both struggling for grip. Boniface down there in 5th, setting fastest laps in no man's land. More than amazing said he ran out of talent. I don't know. I don't know if he had talent anyway. Anyways, 6 laps to go here in Mexico. And McQuiz going a little bit faster than his best, actually, in that little middle sector. So perhaps you were correct, Caddy Davis. Perhaps he was saving those tyres, and now he's starting to unleash the pace in that Mercedes. Is Washi beginning to struggle coming through this next sector, because McQuiz just pulled a second out of him on that lap. Well, almost a second. So McQuiz starting to go faster, starting to pull the time. David Ben gets a 3-second time penalty, which is a shame because he's chasing down McQuiz. I think Gordon has been getting a hard time this weekend. I mean, he had Ian pointing little digs at him. I've just pointed a dig at him. I've got to give the guy some credit. Did a great job. But it is his first DNF in AOR F8, which is a shame for him. Riding on board with McQuiz. Doing a lot better. I believe that is a minus on the pit. Yeah, he is 2/10 up on his best. So he's starting to put the lap times together. You could see him. Let's see if he's losing time. He's doing relatively okay. You could see Washi going slower. So perhaps Washi starting to conserve if he wants to do that one stop. Because he cannot afford to make a pit stop, really. Can he afford to make a pit stop? Well, with only about 5 laps to go, I'm beginning to doubt that Washi's going to pit. So, if we believe that, then McQuiz needs to get the hammer down. And that is a fair point from More Than Amazing, because look, Thomas only about 5.8 behind David Ben. So if either of them pit, then this man will win. So he's caught in a predicament. Have these guys gone too long on the tyres? Have they tried too much? Because they'll be borderline by the end, especially... Well, actually, Washi actually pitted earlier than McQuiz, so his tyres will be even more shot by the end. So they're just trading lap times, and it's all looking like Washi is going to take victory here and put that championship gap to 17 points, which is a commanding lead going into the final 2 rounds. 3 laps to go. So maybe can Denzal maybe steal a victory, not a victory, a podium here, because he's closing in on David Ben very quickly. So with 3 laps to go, these guys are definitely not pitting, they're doing the one stop. And they're starting to go slower. And Denzamo is a total of 13 seconds behind race leader. But Washi is in command at this point, but he needs to take care of his tyres, because I believe he's going to be going about 21 laps on this set of intermediates. Almost 21 laps, which is a huge amount of mileage for these tyres. He's got to be looking and got to be saving those tyres, because he's going to be in that danger zone of punctures as well as McQuiz, and that gap is back out to 9.3. So is this game over? And David Ben is right there, because he's been chipping away at that gap, and now it's 1.2. So could this spell the real turning point in the championship for Washi? If David Ben does manage to get... Well, although David Ben has a 3-second time penalty, so if he still needs to pull a 3-second time gap over McQuiz to secure himself P2. So, either way, unless Washi makes a horrific mistake, then it's going to be a 17-point gap at the top of the championship. Denzamo is lurking in the background. And unfortunately, it looks like his championship hopes are over. He needed to pretty much win today, and Washi to be second to keep his title hopes alive. But I think it's going to be it for him. We have 2 laps to go here in Circuit of the Americas, and we all know what happened with 2 laps to go in Circuit of the Americas for Washi. Let's hope it doesn't happen to him again. So he started down in P6 in qualifying, was P3 by the first corner, and did the undercut to get in front of McQuiz. McQuiz probably hoping that he could overcut Washi, but I don't think it's worked. If McQuiz had pitted earlier, straight away after he'd come out, then he would have come out in the race lead. But who would have come out on top? We could have seen a battle between these guys. But we're still yearning for that battle. Washi has been winless since, I believe, Belgium was his last victory. That's what I believe it is, at least. I believe it. Yeah, I believe it is. Belgium will just check the results page for you. But we're coming up to the final lap, and Washi and McQuiz have done the one stop, but now is in a critical phase. 60-70% wear on the tyres is what we're going to be looking out for, but it is the final lap in Mexico, and Washi leads out front. And yes, it is Belgium. Wasn't Washi's last victory. And the quiz has not won since Monza. And you're also noticing Limaro down in P10, also looking for a points finish. But also look at this. Denzamo on the final lap is looking to take away P3 from David Ben. Well, either way, he's going to lose P3 because he's got a 3-second time penalty. So Denzamo has got a podium anyway. But this is going to be the turning point in the championship in Washi's favour, pretty much. He's just got to be nursing those tyres. And that gap will go to 17 points. So, can Denzamo maybe launch from down the inside? He doesn't need to, but maybe will he think about it? McQuiz will be frustrated. So, here he comes then, Washi. The last time he won was back in Belgium. He's coming through the stadium section. The crowd rise to their feet in jubilation. The confetti sprays in the Mexican colours. Through they come. And it is. Through the final corner comes the Toro Rosso. It hasn't been since Belgium since he won. And across the line, it's going to be Washi who wins the Mexican Grand Prix. And it's going to be 17 points at the top of the championships. And McQuiz comes across the line in P2. He did his best, but he couldn't make it. David Ben comes across the line in P3, but then Zamo steals it away and takes a podium for Toro Rosso. So, an absolutely amazing drive from Washi once again. Strategy masterclass. And Boniface comes across the line to take P5. Rob 2K will take P6. Hoink and Limaro takes another points finish, which is a great result for him in P10. Jason P11. We also have Noodle getting a great result for 7th as he gets the car sideways in the stadium section. But his best finish has been 6th this season, so we almost matched it. P7 for the man. And what a disappointment this has been for Buffon. He started on pole position, but of course the race was wet, and that changes everything. He will come across the line to finish P8. And that is it for the Mexican Grand Prix. Championship gap is now at 17 points going into the final 2 rounds. It's a big, big ask for McQuiz to close that gap. But it can be done. But it's going to take a monumental effort. There is Washi on the top step of the podium once again. 2 Toro Rosso drivers and a Mercedes driver. Denzamo alongside him in P3. McQuiz in P2. He did his best. But in the end, Washi came out on top. And is looking ever, ever likely to take the championship. So then there's confirmation of the results. Washi takes the win here in Mexico with McQuiz in P2 and Denzamo P3. None of the top 3 guys had any penalties. And then we run down through the order. Limaro takes P10. And then you have your DNFs down there. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time out in Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We hope you'll join us then. Round 19. And Washi can potentially win the title next week. So make sure you tune in next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.